so glad to hear everybody on this call. We're excited, we're rejuvenated, we are just motivated to move forward here at Econo Nation. Welcome to the Diamond Factory. I am Dr. Roz, your VP of Communications, and I'm sitting in for our phenomenal Chief Sales Officer, Phyllis Nash. Listen, I just deem it as a privilege just to be here, and we want to just get out the way because we know that on Wednesdays, when we huddle up on Wednesday, we come into a huddle and we receive marching orders, we receive correction, we receive direction, we receive instructions, we receive motivation from our VP of Training and Development, none other than Coach Dan Johnson. Coach Dan, are you there?
Good morning, Econo Nation. Listen, I am here, and I am excited. Dr. Roz, are you with me? Listen, I want to just say it's good to be back in Econo Nation. It's good to be back in the huddle with you. Last week I had to miss, and my apologies, but I am here and I am here with you. And so I know that many of you, I can hear the fire in Dr. Rod's voice. I've gotten text messages about how awesome the boot camp was. Last weekend, I bumped into Mom Mitchell and her husband at the airport. They were coming from the boot camp, and I was flying out. And so I'm flying out to Atlanta for a day. And they had the energy, they were on fire, and I am so glad that the fire is burning. I am so glad the fire is burning. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to make certain that the fire don't fizzle out. That's what I want to make certain of. I want to make certain that the fire don't fizzle out. As many of you know, based on what I shared a couple of weeks ago, we did a boot camp for financial literacy and power to prosperity. And it was an amazing boot camp, but people were excited in the moment. One of the things that I told them is that the significance of the moment, the significance of the moment is what you do the day after, what you do the week after, what you do the month after. And the key is to keep the fire burning. And a lot of times we go to these events and we come back and we're super charged, super excited. And then after a while, when life starts happening again, after a while, when the things don't seem as easy as it felt when we were in the boot camp or in the moment, our moments only last a minute. And so what I want to do today is I want to help you posture you and position you where your moments will last more than a minute, where your fire don't fizzle out, where your excitement and enthusiasm stay the course. And the way that you do this is understanding that the moment you had and the purpose of that moment had a purpose that could change the rest of your life to the best of your life. Change the rest of your life to the best of your life. So what that means is I want you to keep before you what got you excited in the first place. Come on. Yeah. I want you to keep before you what got you excited in the first place. I want you to really understand why the fire is hot. I want you to understand where's this energy coming from. Because what I'm learning as I get a little bit older in life is that everything I do has a root cause. Everything you do has a root cause. Everything you say comes from a place. out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth opens. So there's something on the inside of you that causes you to feel a certain way. It causes you to think a certain way. It causes you to act a certain way. So you got to get to that thing that call and become one with that thing if it's good, and learn how to separate yourself from that thing if it's bad. So in this case, we want to become one with that thing that calls us to be on fire, that calls us to have this energy, that calls us all of this excitement and enthusiasm. We want to dig deep to figure out, why am I so motivated? Because it can't just be information, because you've had information before. Information got you here. So it has to be something that's deeper than that, and I need you to be able to tap into it. And I believe that typically what it is it's the potential output from the input that you received. So let's look at how we can do this. One of the things is, as we spoke, I believe 2 weeks ago, I said we got to move from education to edu-action. So we got to see, because every level of education provides you the necessary information so that you can move into edu-action, which is basically to act upon that which you've been educated on. Now, I understand that one of the strategies that has been discussed in this boot camp and flushed out. I remember some time ago, I told you to get C2, 2x5, 2 people a day, 5 days a week. That's a total of 10 people that you introduce Akana to. And as a result of that, you can figure out what your closing ratio is. So I want to bring that formula back into alignment. I want to make some tangible goals, because what to keep the fire burning is when you see small victories. When you see small victories, when you move into action, and as a result of you moving into action, you're able to see small victories, and that keeps the fire burning. That keeps the moment alive. And so, for example, my oldest boy, as you guys know, he's a group salesman in Sacramento Kings. I coach him 3 times a week in how to sell, how to deal with his clients, and now we're coaching him on how to deal with his boss. And in that coaching, I begin to share with him, hey, one of the things you have to stop doing is leaving everything to conversation and text messages. I said to him, every time you have a conversation with your boss, you got to put paper on it. And the way you put paper on him is that you memorialize the conversation in detail with an email. And when you send that email out, it holds him accountable to what he said to you. And it also shows him that you're paying attention. And so he used to resist that and say that my boss doesn't, he doesn't really check emails, this, that, and the other. I said, listen, you don't care whether you check it or not. You want to put paper on him. I'm going somewhere. And so as a result of that, he started putting paper on his boss. And then he had a one-on-one with his boss, and he actually went in, and his boss was a little heated with him because my son's very aggressive in sales, and he wanted him to slow down some. And then, but the bottom line is, he said, but I got to commend you. You have taken your level of professionalism to another level. He said, I love the fact of how detailed you are in communicating our conversations in the emails. He said, that's how you do it. My son lit up, he got excited, and then he called me 3 or 4 times, Dad, I'm really liking this new communication style. It's really working. I'm starting to see it. I feel more professional, this, that, and the other. So, and there it is. So you want small victories. He moved into edu-action, and as a result, he's getting small victories, and it's keeping his fire burning. So I want you to be able to tap into small victories. Well, one of the things that came out is that you personally sponsor 2 people, get them to sponsor 2 people, get them to sponsor 2 people. That concept is a concept, and you go deep. That concept is a concept that many of you may have participated in that comes from the Susu concept. Well, here's how I want you to work it. You have to know your closing ratio to be able to know how many people it's going to take for you to get to your 2, to be able to personally sponsor your 2. So that means how many people do you have to personally talk to that's going to actually hear the presentation? How many people do you have to personally talk to get 2 of those individuals, or 1 of those individuals, I should say, to say yes? So that's something that you got to look at. So the way that I want you to do it, and I know that the goal was by the end of this month that everybody go get your personally sponsored 2. Well, I'm hoping and praying that many of you have done so. But I'm going to give you a strategy so that you can keep the momentum flowing, so you'll know the kind of work you need to put in for yourself as an individual, right? For yourself as an individual to be able to get to that closing rate, get to that particular close. So what does that mean? That means this. It means that you're going to see 2 people a day. You want to talk to 2 people a day, 5 days a week. That's 10 people in a week. Out of those 10 people that you talk to, you're going to determine how many of those people said yes. And I'm talking minimums. I'm not saying this is your max. Some of you are going to go and talk to 4 people. I'm saying your minimum. So out of that 10, if you close 1 person, it's a 10% closing ratio. If you close 2 people, it's a 20% closing ratio, so on and so on. So let's just say that it took you got a 10% closing ratio, 1 person. So that means you know now, in order to get to your 2, based on numbers, you got to talk to at least 20 people. 20 people you got to sit down to go through the presentation, and out of those 20 people, at least 2 are going to come. Now you know the kind of work you have to do. Now you know, okay, if I want to close 2 this week, in 5 days, I got to talk to 20 people because I have a 10% closing ratio. Or I got to talk to 10 because I have a 20% closing ratio. So when you break it down by the numbers, each one of you will be able to develop your own plan for how you're going to reach it, how you're going to reach that goal. Now that you know how you're going to get your personally sponsored 2, in getting your personally sponsored 2, you're going to, in getting them sponsored, they're being sponsored with a mindset and understanding that they need to sponsor, right? So they're not just coming into the business, and then when they come into the business, they come in, and after a while, you send them through the first 48 and things of that nature. No, they're coming in understanding with the idea of who their personal 2 people or who their list is going to be that they're going to bring with them. That's how you do it. When I was in sales, what I would do is my job, my goal, it wasn't my quota. My goal was every client that I signed them to spending $3,200 a month. The exact number was $3,293. That was their average monthly billing. But I wanted each one of my clients to get to $10,000 a month. Well, what I did was, because I wanted each one of my clients to get to $10,000 a month, here's what I did. What I did is as I was closing them on the $3,293, I had already set up that the goal is to get them to get to $10,000 a month. How did I do it? I gave them if-then scenarios. Hey, if you spend $3,293 with me, and I am able to send back to you double that investment to $6,400, on a monthly basis, how long are you going to say, well, I want you to commit not only 13 weeks, but 52 weeks? Can we agree to that? Oh, absolutely. Because what person don't want to, every time they put $3,200 in, get $6,400 back out? I said, but the goal for you is for you to put 10,000 in and double that and get 20,000 back out. So once we hit certain benchmarks, when we hit certain benchmarks, I'm going to come back to you to increase your investment so that we can maximize your return. Is that fair? So I positioned it that way before I even signed the contract. Before I even signed the contract for the first one. So when they came in knowing my goal is to get you to $10,000 a month. But really, their goal was to get you $20,000 a month in return. So we both had goals. And so that's how you want to position it. When you get your personally responsible too, you want to begin to identify for them you want to know what their goals are. And you're going to show them how them getting to, and that too, they get personally responsible to, you're going to show them how to use that formula to get to their goal. So when they come in, they're going to come in with a game plan already mapped out. Matter of fact, and I don't know what they told you at the boot camp, but matter of fact, what I would do is I would actually do a chart. I'll create a little tree, and I'll put me and my personal responsibility too, and then I'll draw the brackets, and then I will have them, as I'm bringing them into the business, fill in names of the brackets of who can go here, who can go here, who can go here, who can go here. Now, that's similar to the top 100 list. The only difference is you're putting these people in place and you're showing them how to get to these people and how you can help these people get to their people. And you're showing them the tree. And then you start filling it in. And now you're seeing your growth. And all of these things that you're doing is activity to keep the fire burning. If you're right now, if you're going out and you're identifying how many people you got to talk to in order to get to your closing ratio, and some of you may already know, that's going to keep the fire burning up. So now, if you talk to 10 people and you got a 10% closer, if you talk to 5 people and you got a 10% closing ratio, you already know it. Only reason I haven't closed 2 people is because I haven't talked to enough. I got a 10% closing ratio. I'm not going to get there just talking to 5 people. So that's going to motivate you already to talk to 20. And so the list goes on and on. So for me today, what I want you to be able to do is keep the fire burning. I want you to keep the moment alive, that your moment lasts beyond a minute. And the way that you're going to do it is you're going to understand not only the numbers, but you're going to understand how to build based on the new the metrics that you've gone over throughout this boot camp. And that's not only the only thing you cover. So what I want you to do is take all of the pieces of education you got and say, and I gave you a strategy on how to deal with one, and say, how do I turn education into education? What do I have to do? Because the success of your business, the success of what it is that you're going to do is contingent upon what you're going to do. It's not you getting the information. It's not you getting the education. The success is turning education into education. The success is actually putting into place without fail, without excuse, without any of those types of distractions, the strategy for you to win personally. That's what it is. And I look forward to seeing those that do it at the top, the very top, the tip of the top. Listen, I'm past my time. I trust and pray that this information was helpful. Dr. Ross talked back to me. I'm going to pass it to her. And like I said, I trust and pray that this information was helpful. for you today, and I want you to go out and have a supernatural, wonderful Akana day.
All right, thank you, Coach Dan. We've got our marching orders, guys. Listen, we are so pumped, and we're going to stay pumped. That's the whole goal here. And stay excited and stay committed. So look, everybody, great. Have a great Akana kind of day, and let's go for it. As our CSO would say to us, push. Bye for now.